All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Flip Thought Show. It's your host with the most, King Truth, Bird, Benny Bo, the one with the word, the one with the flow, and we coming at you live, man, at 10:14 with a special guest. We got the host of the Down to Earth podcast right here, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Yo, bless. Thank you for having me. My name is Sean Myrie from the Down2Earthpodcast, Down to Earth Network, one half of the D2E. What are you saying, brother?
For sure, man, for sure. So, just tell us a little bit about the content that you do, bro, and how long you been doing it for.
Well, the content. Okay, we're gonna get into that. Yeah, it's a lot of content we do. We deal with politics, history, um, you know, a lot of stuff. What is not like really popular out there, but we deal with artists too, especially music artists, because we're into the music. We're into that culture, hip hop and urban music. So
Mm-hmm.
we're into that because we, I'm an artist myself, so I always been.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask next. Are you an artist yourself? 'Cause I seen the when I sent you an email, it said Sean Myrie Beats. So I thought you were like maybe a producer or something.
Yeah, man, like you could call it that. I never really spotlighted my other skills, right? We've done this podcast thing for about almost 6 years, me and my brother, right? So you see it's Down, and then you see the 2 Earth podcast. So we started this about like around, when they had the COVID, before that, a little bit around that time, right?
Okay. Yep.
I was always interested in podcasts. I knew about podcasts a long time ago. And like, for example, like what really inspired me to do the podcast is because we always had like in the studio sessions, like reasoning, we call it reasoning before this podcast thing, is like, we always had conversations, but we were never recorded, right? Like me and my brother, our friends, my pops, the older heads. Like right now we're in the home studio, right? Part of the home studio. Sure. And there was always people coming here for years and years to rehearse and record. So this whole podcast thing right now, what became popular, it was so perfect because we were doing that already. Probably even recording tapes of us talking, we forgot about those. You get what I mean? So when we say Down to Earth, it's because it's linked to our pops, to our father, who had a sound. He was like a DJ, and it was called it was called Earthquake. It's still called Earthquake Sound International. Earthquake Sound International. So my pops was already into media in a way already. Like he had his own sound, which would be considered like, if you see Funk Master Flex, you got what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he had a name in the city playing out for like events, like a reggae dance hall events, right? Because our parents are Jamaican, so that's our background too, right? So it was always in us, this whole thing, what you see. So it's really authentic. It's not like we just said, oh, we just want to go in the trend of doing like a podcast or whatever people see. Is nothing what's new. It's something it's always been in us. Like
So you guys were already having like real genuine dope conversations, but you guys recorded it, but you guys just never put it out, So you guys always have this say like table talk, or we call it church where I'm from. Like we have a little church. Sit down and have a discussion where we chop it up.
Yeah. And when people see like I like to say, like, for example, like the weed game, because we're into that too, the culture.
Okay. Yeah.
Here, now it's legal. It's fully legal in Canada, right? Because we're from we're from the 6, Toronto, right?
Shout out to the 6. Shout out to Toronto for sure, man.
Yeah, man. Like even that culture is something what's big down here. Maybe it's getting spotlighted, not as much as Cali, but in Canada, it's always been lenient to that plant, even though it was illegal at one point, but it was not compared to like what we see in like down in your side in America, where it's like still people are fighting for that shit, right?
Yeah. So break it down a little bit. Do you guys have dispensaries out there though, or what?
That's like yeah. It's been around for been legal for 8 years now.
The dispensaries were before it was legalized.
Even before it was legalized, there were a lot of illegal dispensaries. And even though people wondering like, oh yeah, some got busted, but they were still soft on it down in Canada.
Once
like
it got busted, another one opened.
It gets busted, others open. So it wasn't like it's like the popo or whatever the authority is like. It was a waste of time, even when it was illegal to bother with weed.
Yo, man, tell them, but tell them a little more, man. As in,
this is my brother in the background talking.
Listen here, man. It's not legalization; it's decriminalization.
That
all right, straight up goods. Because I'm gonna tell you this, a little history here. They legalized it because they got tired of everybody who's liquor spliff or anything like that to go to court for a court's time.
Because it was different type of people.
No, let me just break it down to you. A little dime will cost about maybe $10, and you're gonna waste about thousands of dollars in court's time for a little split.
Yeah.
You know how many cases were going on about that before the legalization?
Oh yeah,
wasting
for sure.
Court's time,
and it's because it's who was getting arrested, getting caught with it now. Like I'm saying, the popularity of like I was about to say.
That's like Texas. Texas still is not lenient like that. Like you could get caught up with like a roach on you and do like 10 years for a little bit of a joint.
Crazy.
But check this out. Before it was legal, it was lenient still.
Yeah,
it was lenient still. You wouldn't get in so much shit like, you know, in certain states that they'll lock you up for you know.
Because okay, even though it's been legalized here, for example, for 8 years, like for at least 5 years before that, there was a lot of illegal dispensaries.
Of course.
Tons of them right now, and now what's going on is a different thing. Now it's the mushroom dispensaries.
Yeah,
and where it's just right.
So is it because I know a lot out here now? It's like the mushroom chocolate bars. Like they sell those. That's the type of things they do out there. I don't know. Over here in Cali, that's what they do. I don't know what you guys do out there, but they have like dispensaries and smoke shops where you can buy the chocolate bars.
They have those, but those ones it's like a mixture. Like I know you see you're from Cali, so the culture of a lot of the stuff what you see, what you've seen, that's what's going on here. But imagine like so commercialized, like less restricted. Like you could go into like, for example, there's a certain cities probably, for example, in Ontario, because that's like how our state, what you would say our state, Ontario, where there's
provinces.
Provinces
are like
states.
You see how you guys have states, each state.
We
got provinces instead of
in the province. Okay, the province. So just say Toronto, for example, right, or another city in Ontario. There will be a certain amount of dispensaries, right, and you would not believe it. For example, there's a city called Hamilton, right, in Ontario. You could go probably on like a street, and there's like 20 dispensaries.
Damn. See, yeah, cause we have them all spread out. Over here, it's like, okay, you might see like 2 over here. Then you go to the next city, you might see 2 or 3 over here.
And I was maybe exaggerating, but I'm saying that's how much it's. You're gonna see
it. No, of course.
You see it like you drive, there's a dispensary. You go over there, there's a dispensary, right, Rock? Yep. In the mall, where the mall is,
I call it
there's dispensary. Like it's like
I call it
Greentown.
But yeah, man, like when it comes to this podcast thing, right? We were already into sound and like music production, so like the stuff what people use like equalizers and like hooking up stuff, production with like the MPC and all those stuff. Like we're like a Bible of stuff. You could keep asking us stuff about whatever when it comes to hip hop and like or just culture. Even me, like I'm into the history stuff. My brother's into the comics. He knows all about Marvel Universe. So
I was gonna say like that's what I seen when I was out there. I seen the actual Marvel store out there, and I think it was, I don't know if it was Toronto or it might have been Ontario. But I was a little kid when I went out to Canada. But they took me to a little Marvel exhibit. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. It's like it's the original Marvel store. They have all the original comic books in the glass and stuff like that. I don't know exactly where it is in Canada.
I didn't know they had that here. And we're from here. I didn't even know they had that here.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where it is, but it's somewhere in Canada. That's why I don't want to say the wrong city or anything. But yeah, it's somewhere in Canada. That's where I went. They had like basically all the old comic books, like right when they were first made, the first copies, all behind glass and stuff.
Yeah.
And then all the different stuff they used in all the Marvel movies and stuff like that. It's just all of this little building and stuff, and you could take the pictures with the characters and shit. This was like maybe 2005.
Damn. That's a gem for us, like over here, because I don't even know about it, but it is, as you say. So yeah, man, there's a lot of things like we've been, like I'm saying, we've been doing this pod thing for like 6 years, and before that we were doing production, like doing music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing a lot of music. Even my brother he was doing events, like going out filming events and stuff. So the content stuff, we've been doing it like, I should say, what, good 8 years?
Probably longer.
Or longer than that, maybe 10. A good strong
Okay.
10. But
So almost a decade. Almost a decade.
But doing the pod about 6, going 6, doing the podcast about 6. There's so much things we experienced doing the pod, like, you know what I mean, and just seeing how media has changed, and really do.
This YouTube world is crazy, man. It's YouTube universe. I swear, like it's just like some of the stuff. Like I do a lot of content too, but some of the stuff I just don't cover because some of it's just so negative. It's like it's
But
all you really
what's
see.
going on now? I see the whole game. I see the game when it comes to this whole YouTube thing, how it works, the algorithm, and when people think it's just a machine, no, it's really real people controlling the shit. Because when I say like they could do shadow ban, right? Because for example, we get really deep down to earth. We talk about not just the what's called. Recently, I've been covering a lot of I would say the pop culture. But when you start talking about what they say, so-called conspiracy theorists, or, you know, want to make people out to be crazy, right? We've been talking about that for years. And a lot of the stuff what people are shocked about, for example, we were saying and people did not believe. Like, for example, the puffy thing. You see all this puffy shit?
Before even get
No, I just want to give him an example.
I want to give you the most fresh one, the most freshest one. Tory Lanez.
Okay, we said that too.
We were saying, listen here, before him getting assaulted and all that,
The stabbing,
that and all that. What did I say in the pod, Sean?
He said no. We said
no, but what was one of the main things I said? Don't get me wrong. We love Tory, Tory, free Tory, and all that.
You did say
we love it, but I said this for his own good. That you should not be doing music and all of that in. Look, he's an American. He's a Canadian in American prison. Yeah. Okay. And another thing I said, he's no Vibes Cartel. Okay, Vibes Cartel could do that shit because he's in Jamaica and do all of that and do recording and all of that. They ain't gonna do nothing to him there. He ain't no Vibes Cartel.
Yeah, he did say something like that.
And guess what? Look what happened afterwards. He be bigging up his mouth and everything. I love Tory, but the thing is, look, he's a Canadian in a U.S. prison.
Yeah, he did say that. You know what?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's crazy though that you say that though.
My brother put that in an episode, and you know what? I'm surprised I didn't clip that.
You need to clip that. And that was before all of this happened.
And we said it more than one time because we had another episode. You were saying we were talking about it too, long time about this shit, and even about what's her name? I almost got it. I forgot. But one thing about the girl.
You talking about Kelsey or Megan Thee Stallion? Which one?
Yeah, I had episodes and I said, yo, that was like a ricochet shit. As time what we said, that was already a ricochet. That gun thing never how they explained it was not an aimed shot. It was. I
mean, you see the bodyguard coming out now saying that it was Kelsey that had the gun in her hand. So pretty soon, a lot of people are saying Tory's going to be free soon because there's new evidence in the case. You know,
and it's fucked. He got stabbed right before this happened.
Okay,
it's like
here's too much. Another thing. You see, another thing. You see, he said it right there. Yeah. It talks of him getting out. Yeah, see, and doing music at the same time. And guess who stabbed him? It's a lifer. Because guess what? Yeah. You're in there with him, and you're getting out. No, motherfucker, you're gonna get out with a casket instead. You're not getting out of here. That's the whole thing. I'm telling you.
I feel like they were. Yeah, I feel like they were trying to. I feel like they're gonna try to. They're trying to shut him up before he got out, though, because a lot of people.
So you see what I'm saying? These are the stories what they like. These are the hot stories. But you see when you start talking about certain things, like we have talked about certain things, it's so deep. It's like, yo, they're not gonna make this go viral. They're not gonna make the numbers. They control the numbers. Yeah. They control the narratives. Because okay, I tested it recently, right? So if I'm talking about, for example, this guy from Burkina Faso, right? Right? What's going on in Africa? And he's supposed to be everywhere. You see him on Instagram and everywhere. But when you post about that, you don't see the numbers. Or if you do a piece on that, you don't see the numbers. But now, Rock, I make some content on some beef in Toronto. Yo, that shit goes. That moves. I tested it. I made some shit covering a beef, right? Whatever they say a beef was going on between Top 5 and Pressa's brother. And you know what? That shit, I was surprised. I didn't even try with that. That shit is going. You see?
The algorithm works weird. I mean, I feel like they'll shadow ban you though, not even just if you really talk too much. To say if they don't really like want the content to be out there like that, they'll just push it in the back. Because you know when you go on YouTube, automatically it shows you the top stuff and like recommends you what to watch. If you're not on that, it's really hard for people to find you.
Yeah. So now if I'm talking about maybe something about Drake a little bit, right? Something about Drake and it's, you know, like the beef, when that was going on, the algorithm was nice. So, you're going to get the views off of that, right? And same thing with this no jumper shit. Because I see a lot of content makers weren't even popping until this no jumper whole thing happened. I'm going to
that's what's crazy about it. Like, I look at my numbers, right? If I start talking about Brick Baby and Loose Cannon and Whack 100, I'm getting 1,500, 1,600 in about a couple hours, in like an hour. But if I'm talking about some other real stuff happening in I'm from San Diego. So if I'm talking about stuff that's happening in San Diego, Cali, LA, stuff that's not no jumper stuff, I'll maybe get like 200-300 views. Like, so that's really what they want to see with the algorithm.
You see what you're saying? You're from the Bay, right? You're
from I'm from San Diego. I'm from San Diego. I'm from San Diego.
Cali, right?
Yep, I'm from Cali. Yeah, you know where SeaWorld is. I don't know if you heard of SeaWorld with Shamu.
In fact, Cali. That's one of the places I would love to go, San Diego.
But you see what you're saying there? Whenever you say something about no jumper now, or anything what's going on in those areas, being from the West Coast now, someone like us or whoever, like just seeing you talk about it and you're saying you're from Cali, like we know you're from Cali, that's gonna get people to watch. Because they just want to say, oh shit, this guy's actually from there. Vice versa. If you want to know something from Toronto, right? And we're talking about it like Drake and shit, and you know we are really from Toronto, not like your other guys talk about Drake. This is what's going on. It's gonna break through. I don't know when it is, but you see how you hear all like bless up to the Americans who talk about Drake, but they're not from Toronto.
They only get to hear from
now
this and this.
How you talking to us? We're from there, so you could ask us real shit. What's more realer than what you hear from all these other?
Put it this way: there's stories that are here with the man that people's experience are not even out yet.
So I'm saying people make content off of Drake, but they're not even really. They don't know no one who knows Drake or kind of has a picture compared to us. We see a different type of Drake.
Talking about the CD.
Oh yeah, the CD shit.
No,
that was
just tell him about.
Oh yeah,
tell him.
It's a small world. You know, it's a small world. The local.
2001.
Yeah.
2001. I think it was one of our friends. He was
Peter.
He was like what do you say, an A&R type of guy. He would try to hook up. He was a promoter, right? So Drake gave him a CD, and we had the CD, right? And it was his demo, but he was doing like backpack music.
Yeah.
Back then,
okay.
Like, remember he was an actor.
Drake was on Degrassi. Yeah, that was his first
years.
His music was not what it is today.
But I'm not surprised, anyways, because I know that other people will be surprised. So I know he was an actor, right, from Degrassi before he became this rapper, right? So some people don't look at Drake like that, like he's an actor. You have to remember, 8 years is a good time to be doing anything on the camera.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like, you could look at Drake throughout the years, and he's had a lot of growth. He started as acting, then when Wayne found him, he was this one way. Then when he stopped messing with Wayne, he became this other way. Like, there's a lot of different growth in Drake, you know? People just want to focus on just this now.
Yeah. So what we seeing there's a good time of 8 years, even in those 8 years, because I'm older than him, right? Even though those times in those 8 years, I wasn't watching TV like that. Like when he was doing that whole Degrassi shit, I heard about it. It was like we remember the original Degrassi, the old one from the
Yeah,
80s.
yeah, yeah. I seen it.
When he
The one
came
in the
out,
'80s, the one that was in the '80s. Yeah, I know
yeah,
what you're
when
talking
he
about. Yeah,
came out, I had kids, young kids, so I was even, I just seen this guy on TV. Wait, you get what I mean? Like, oh,
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
the grassy generation going on. You get what I mean? Like this guy. Who is this guy in the wheelchair? Like I would see glimpses of him.
Yeah. Just little snippets and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I never really got into it until like maybe a couple years ago. I just had to have somebody. My wife had told me to watch it. And I sat down and watched it, so I just barely really got into it. But I watched the beginning. I watched the old one from the '80s,
you
and
know. Oh, you
that
were
one
talking about
that one's a trip. That
Everybody
one's a
wants
trip.
something.
Yeah. And
no,
they
but
take your money, yeah, and
you gotta
never
know
give
this, you know,
up.
Johnny, I guarantee people are gonna start to watch that even more now. I
Oh, for
guarantee
sure,
it's gonna
for sure.
become something where Drake, people are gonna start to realize that this man was doing acting for 8 years. You could go watch like seasons with him in it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Jimmy Cook.
Yeah, in
Jimmy
that
Brooks,
wheelchair.
especially especially the shooting scene when he gets shot by Rick. That's a crazy scene.
And he's in the wheelchair.
See, so that's why I'm saying that helped him become who he is. Nothing's
Yeah,
wrong
yeah,
with
for
that.
sure.
But when people are seeing what he's doing, right, Rock, even though sometimes it's like they might say it's corny, he's really acting. When you think he's doing corny shit, he's acting.
Yeah, yeah. I would
So
say so.
he,
I would say like I feel like all this the thing got blown out of proportion. This whole little beef with him and Kendrick, bro, because like at the end of the day, it was really just a label trying to finesse more sales, bro,
but
and they
he
turned them against each other. So it's just like I feel
the
like it
only
shouldn't
thing
have
was
got that real. But I got homies that really look at it like it's a real situation that are from LA and stuff like that, and they look at it a whole different way. The homies out here in Dago, we don't really look at it like that serious, you know what I'm saying? But LA takes it a whole different way. I think because I don't know, it's different with the politics, it's
I
different.
heard the main reason is because he used the Tupac and Snoop AI. That's what there's I'm hearing, like that's
Yeah, but it was it really him that did it, or was it a fan made thing? Because there's a lot of things like you could take it back to the right now with the Lil Durk case right now. They was trying to pin him on more charges for the lyrics, but when they listened to the song, it was a fan made song.
but
So like,
but that's a real song though. That was what Drake that's what got him. He made that song.
oh, okay, because there is a lot of fan made AI edits that get
Yeah.
posted to make it look like it's the artist that posted though, but
No,
it's a
that was
fan.
legit. That was legit.
Oh, okay.
Everything. That's what I think what really probably what I'm hearing from people is that. So
Okay.
it's
Okay. Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
knowing that Drake has the Tupac's ring and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I don't know if it goes like if people look, it might be conspiracy, but like he has the ring, like a symbolic shit, right?
Oh, okay.
That's what Drake has. He owns that shit. And then there's the little subliminals. People are talking back and forth about what girlfriends or whatever, wives and shit like that. And
Yeah, I mean, he
yeah,
said he had basically said that Kendrick was being domestic towards his wife and those kids weren't his kids and stuff like that. So that's why he had them in the video dancing and stuff like that. So they've thrown a lot of jabs at each other, yeah, but I feel like it's more so what the label did though. Like
yeah.
they pushed them against each other to get the sales.
Yeah, they know. They said, "Yo, let's make up. This battle thing could make
Yeah.
some money, and gives us some promo. Let's make this go right." So that's what people are accusing Kendrick of being, like the guy who's with the labels, like as the label boy, to take off like Drake, because Drake's the one suing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Drake's the one is suing.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, what do you think? Because Drake's suing the company really to get at Kendrick, like because Kendrick is symbolically the one who dissed him, but he's suing the UMG
I feel like it's a problem in the long run because then it's like anybody that could be on the label, if the label does do some shady, grimy stuff and they go to sue them, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it leaves an opening for the next artist to do that. So it's like it's almost like it's gonna
Yeah.
be a more of a
So,
problem for UMG.
so
Yeah.
overall for the culture, what do you think about that, man?
I mean, like, I don't really agree with the suing. That's why I said, like, but it's like I understand it in a way, but I really don't
Yeah.
agree with it because, like I said, in the long run, like that just makes it so UMG
Other
could be
people.
sued at any time. You know what I'm saying? Other people could do that. That
True.
makes it like an opening for them to do that. So I feel like that's going to be a problem for the label in the long run.
So my next question is now, you see how these are the times now, the new times here now. Back in the day with all these diss tracks and all of that, from the very first diss track and all of that, and then after from the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s and all of that, right?
Yeah.
No one ever talked about doing any suing or anything like
Never,
that, right?
never, never,
Defamation and all that, right?
They're saying
never,
So
never, never.
wait,
It's a
wait, wait,
sport.
wait for it here, Sean. Wait there. The labels, everyone using excuses. Yo, you have to still say, yeah, go ahead, still about it, don't you? Regardless if the labels or not. But wouldn't you be saying, no, I don't want it to be done? The labels are still gonna do it, even though you are disagreeing about it.
That's true.
Did that
That's
happen
true.
back in the day too, with everybody dissing each other and all of that?
Yeah, for
Did
sure.
that happen too with their labels? Oh, what
For
are you
sure.
telling me? What are you all telling me, man? Think about that one, y'all.
But yo, I'm gonna be straight up though. That's the way, like without getting too controversial, that's his culture. That's
Yeah,
Drake's
yeah, yeah.
culture. Drake's culture, part of his culture is when you fuck with those people, they're gonna bring you to court.
Okay.
They're going
Yeah,
to
I get
bring
what
you
you're
to
saying.
court. So he got that from his mom. His mom said, "Wait, this guy's talking all this shit about you, Aubrey. No, we can't make him do that to your name. We're going to court. He's not gonna make
Okay.
hands up. He's not gonna go bring no shooters to
Because
shooters.
what I was thinking is like it's really though like people kind of lost the ways with the battling and the dissing though. It's really supposed to be a competition. It's supposed to be like a sport, you know. It's not supposed to ever get to the serious point where it's in a courtroom
Because
where
he
there's
didn't win.
shooters.
No, it's because he didn't win. You see if it was like going his way, like and they could. No, this is facts. Someone has to tell Aubrey Drake this. You see if he was winning,
You wouldn't be doing that.
And just say Kendrick was. Say if Kendrick was to do that, he would be saying no. He'll be crying, saying all types of stuff. He'll probably say, "Why is Kendrick bringing me to court for this song?" He would say, "He's a sore loser." You see what I mean? Because he didn't go his way. Remember, he dissed
Yeah,
Meek
that's
Mill.
true.
He dissed Meek Mill, and people are laughing at Meek Mill and all types of stuff. And it's because he felt like, everybody was with me dissing Meek Mill. People supporting him in that battle.
No,
right?
they did. You're right.
And
You're
now
right.
it's turned out against them that no support.
Well, really, it was J. Cole that started everything, and then he seen them trying to go it against each other, and then he backed out because J. Cole was the first person to put out the friendly competition battle track, which was towards Drake and Kendrick. Then they took it and ran with it and made a whole beef out of it because J. Cole started that shit. He did the first song. If you remember, J. Cole was the first person that put the first song out.
To be continued, man. What else questions you want to ask me, man? We could talk forever about that shit, man. But
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Okay, so what I'm gonna say was so like how right now is the music scene out there in Toronto right now?
you know what? We have a long music history, first of all, as a scene, but it has transformed. It should be bigger than it is. We have a lot of talent, so much talent, a Bible of talent. It should be bigger than it is, but we have a lack of infrastructure, right? We don't have the radio stations, right? Of what we should like to get all this music out there. We don't have the network and the support, meaning supporting each other, like how we see people like in California. Like it's very separated here within the six. It's not. That's part of the big problems. Not united, but the music is good. There's a lot of good artists here. It's very versatile.
So the problem is just not being heard like that.
Yeah, and when you see, and it should be, because if you have like Drake, who brought a big spotlight, like one of the biggest artists in the world, right? You got Weekend too,
Yeah,
who's
the weekend. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
then you got Tory Lanez, right? And then you got like Party Next Door. Like it or not, even a lot of American brothers they do agree with us. For the last 10 or so years, it's been Canadians who've been running the urban music in America and the world. Because Weekend is right there with Drake's. In some of the rankings, he's over Drake in the world.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, with the numbers and Billboard stuff, yeah, the weekend's probably passed Drake up.
And he's from Toronto, and Drake's from Toronto, and Tory Lanez, if you know who Tory is, he's from here too. And then there's others like I could say Belly, if you'd heard of Belly, he's from Ontario. I mean, there's a lot of, and then there's a lot of rock besides the hip hop. There's a lot of Justin Bieber's from Ontario.
I was gonna say Justin Bieber as well.
Right?
Yep.
And there's a lot of bands, rock bands. I don't know all of them because I don't really listen to that genre of music, right? But there's like Nickelback, if you heard of Nickelback.
Yeah, I heard of Nickelback. Yeah,
like that. They're from here, and there's tons of world famous Canadian bands. What were big ass American bands I didn't even know unless I do the research, right? Where people listen to, and the Shania Twain and Celine Dion, and
there's a lot of people that came from there's a lot of people came from that side of Canada for sure.
Actors, if you want to talk media, tons of actors.
There's wrestling. I mean, so you could say wrestlers too. Edge, Christian.
Yeah, some people I never knew were Canadian who are actors too. Like that's another thing. Like some Canadians keep quiet and you don't know they're Canadian until later on. You get what I mean? Like that's another thing what happens too. But the music scene, there's good when it comes to hip hop, there's a lot of good shit. You know, there's a lot of shit too, but there's a lot of different levels of when it comes to hip hop. There's the old school style, like the boom bap type of thing.
Yeah, boom bap. Mm-hmm.
And then there's like, of course, the
you got the drill probably, right? You got the drill
stuff for sure. That's popular. And then you got like the lyrical, but like gangster still kind of like everything. You got everything here. It's like a mini New York. A mini New York, but more with a mixture of different other cultures too, because it's a melting pot in the six. Like Afro beats is big. Reggae is a big influence.
I was gonna say reggae for sure, probably big.
The Jamaican culture is very influential in Toronto, right? So even reggae concerts and like local shows are big. Like a lot of people actually go out to those shows, right? And the Afro beats, like that community, they have a lot of people go out to their shows, and the artists too, right? So those other genres, even with the Spanish music, for example, are reggaeton.
Yeah, reggaeton.
Down here, they have their audience, right? I remember a DJ friend of ours was explaining that, because we go out too, but he was saying, yo, when you just talk about one genre, like if that, like that's it. If that's struggling, don't think another genre from your city is struggling. So you this type of music might not be as big. For example, you just say hip hop, right? Is not as big as Afro beats. Just saying, like get more. Maybe there's more artists from the Afrobeat genre get more international attention. Like
I would say right now I feel like that's one of the big new waves right now. Though the reggaeton and stuff like that. You got the Bad Bunny. You got all these different Latin artists right now going up. So
people are not looking on that. Like I love hip hop and I like other type of music, but like within the urban realm, there's other music. Like for example, there's a lot of reggae artists from just say Jamaica who are doing more. Probably doing more than people from here, from like a big percentage from all of Canada. I would say, all of the reggae and the dancehall, they have an industry. Little Jamaica, have a bigger music industry than Canada.
Okay.
Because there's tons of stars and legends what came out of dancehall and reggae in Jamaica. There's so much I could say. Where
Oh, for sure, for sure.
can't even compare, right, Rock? Canada can't compare to Jamaica's music industry.
Canada?
We can't compare to that Jamaica's music industry.
You must be
yeah, there's Bob Marley, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
Then there's
I'm gonna say
Tosh.
all the Marleys, yeah, Bob
Yeah, you
Marley,
could keep saying all the old reggae and the new stuff. It's too much for me to even mention. It's too much. It's too much. They have their own industry more than here, even more than a lot of countries. Jamaica, where our parents are from, have more music than a lot of places. There's some guys there's artists you don't even know who they just go to Europe and they're good with that. They have their own fan base in just Europe.
So that's what I was gonna ask you next. What is it like with your audience? Like, do you get people tapping in from all over the world? Because like a lot of I be looking at it like it's crazy because a lot of my main people that tap in with me is like people in Europe, any parts of Italy, Europe, the UK, Afghanistan, Pakistan. That's like really, I feel like that's where you really should shoot to really go for it because that's the audience that's really going to show love. Like I'm saying for any artist.
I know, you know what? You're right. I like that question you asked because yeah, we're down to earth. But when I see the analytics, right? It's the West, and I done my research like the podcast game. I done it inside out. You could ask me almost anything about the podcast industry. West Coast, the West Coast algorithm. We get a lot of love from the West Coast, right? And I looked up most podcasts where they're popular are in the West Coast of America. They're in New York, but I'm giving away gems to people right now. It's in the West Coast of America and Canada. So a lot of love from everybody, but the West Coast taps in, I know, to Down to Earth because the time. So some people like the time for our audience in Toronto, people may tap in from here too, but it's the time. For example, now the West Coast time when it's like 9 o'clock here, right? It'll be 6 o'clock in the evening in West Coast time, I'm guessing, right? 6. So that is a high traffic time on YouTube. So because people have their dinner, they're kind of chilling. Maybe kids might get ready to go to whatever.
No, it is. Yep.
So if I'm on 9 o'clock here, it benefits me better because I'm on 9, a good time. That's another big traffic time. And in the West Coast, it's 6 o'clock. I'm giving away gems. Maybe.
No.
I'm giving it away to the ones here probably, and even the West Coast. If you're on the West, when you're on at 6, right? That's good for us, because when you're on at 6, that's like I said, 9 o'clock to us. When you come on at 6, it's 9 o'clock, same time. That's perfect time. Kids should be. If you have kids, they are in their bed. You get what I mean? You are.
No, for sure.
You had your dinner, so
that's the time. That's the time. Yep.
That 6 and 9 o'clock time, so people use those times. Either they already finish up what they're doing and they're chilling to come to watch you, or they're still chilling. And 9 o'clock, they know for a fact everybody's good.
No, for sure. I'll say like when I look at mine, right? For my people in New York, they tap in with me when I go on around 6 o'clock, 7 p.m., 12 p.m. in the afternoon, or 12 a.m. at night. Yeah, those are my analytics times.
It's certain times when you go on. It's certain times. And it's funny to meet for right now. This time, for example, is going to 2 o'clock in the morning for us, right? If I go on this time on our YouTube, I'll get more traffic. Because right now, what time is it for you?
Right now, it's about to be 11.
Okay. It's about perfect. It's about to be 11. So if I go on around 2, people are still up because it's still like Friday night.
Yep.
You see what I mean? Yeah. So I'm gonna get the traffic of the West Coast people who are up, and I'm up at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy when you really look at how it works with the times, like you just said. Like
Yeah.
it either works in my favor or it works in yours, but either way, it works in basically both of our favors because, like you said, 11 o'clock over here, people are just starting to wind it down, but not really like that because it's Friday night, so they're gonna be up. So they're gonna
Yes.
scroll through YouTube and they're gonna see, oh, okay, they're on right now. Okay, let's check out what Canada got going.
Exactly. You're right. Because right now, I know for a fact 100%, if I go on live right now, it's gonna be more than usual people tapping it. And it's gonna be from that West Coast. Because remember what in California, what's the population down there?
Um, I would say like it all depends. Like right now, like I'm in the Inland Empire, so I'm like Riverside County. We have at least uh close to 80 to 100,000
Okay, so
people.
that's a small town. Okay, for example, Los Angeles, the city.
Yeah, for sure.
How much million?
Oh, I mean that probably be over. That probably be almost a million people because there's a lot of people that live all in LA and LA is spread out.
Just a million in LA? Must be more than that. Way more than that.
Uh, Maybe 5 million.
No,
I wouldn't really
way,
know.
way more. Because that's like our population and shit. Has to be
Here,
way
let me
more.
see. I'm gonna look it up right now.
It
Let's
has
look
to
it
be.
up.
Yeah, I swear it's bigger than New York.
Let's look it up.
Yeah, it'd
Look
be
it up.
bigger than New York. Because when you told me that population, because I have an idea of the population of it.
Yeah, it's not. It's only 3,821 million.
How much? 3 million
3,821 million.
in LA?
Yeah.
It couldn't be. No, you just said 3,000.
3,821 million. And then it says Chicago, 2,664 million. San Francisco,
You mean
808.
200,000? 2 million, you mean, right?
Here, I'm gonna share my screen.
It has
Give
to
me
be
one
2
second.
million, you're saying, man. Can't be that number, man. Can't be that much.
Here, let me see. Hold on.
Can't be that much, man. I think LA's like 16 million. What?
You
16
see it
million.
right there?
How much? And New York, how much New York? New York has like 12 million. The city. Oh shit. 3 million.
Hey, let's see Chicago.
How much is Chicago? Yeah, it's almost 2 million. So the state of California is about what? 30. How much is the state of
Let's
California?
just do California population. Want to do that? Okay,
Yeah.
let's see that. Let's see that. $39.43.
So what's the most populated city?
All right, most populated city in California. Let's see. Okay, we got LA's 3.9 million, San Diego's 1.4 million, Sacramento is 520,000. San Francisco is 870,000. Oakland is 420,000.
Oh, split up.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Oh, so there must be a lot of
And
cities.
then okay, you see me right here, Riverside.
Yeah.
Riverside's 310,000.
Okay, I see. So what they done in California looks like a lot. They just have so much cities where they just split up. But
Yeah,
what
we're
built
real
all the
split up for sure.
and it all builds up to 30 million?
Well, that was for here. Let me go back.
Shit, that's a lot of cities, yo.
39 million. But yeah,
That's a lot of cities, yo.
right. We're really spread out. We're spread out. California's big spread out, bro.
Yeah, it has to be because if you're saying like they have a lot of like 500,000 here, 400, like we have
Yeah.
that too, but like you would think like New York has, for example, I
Let's
think
see New York. Let's see New York. Let's
New
see.
York has a couple million. I swear New York has 12 million people. I swear New York has 12.
Let's check out New York. New York State population 19.87 million.
Okay. Oh, I see. I thought LA had like more than 2 million. I thought.
You would think that, yeah, you would think, but it's all spread out. And it's like this too, though. When they do the population count at the beginning of the year, people pass away.
Mm-hmm.
So in LA, a lot of people pass away all the time. San Diego, a lot of people pass away all the time. California, people pass away all the time. So the population gets thinner and thinner.
But the like I was saying towards the pod, the frequency or the audience, it seems, if you're East Coast, especially from the East Coast,
Huh?
if you're on live coming from like where we're from, you get a lot of the West people up. Like they're up because people are sleeping a lot. Not some people are a lot more people are sleeping here right now. You know what I mean? They're sleeping, but up your way, people are still people are still a little bit up. So that's where you
Yeah, I get a lot of people like when I go on at like 12 a.m., right? I get a lot of people from the East Coast and I get a lot of people from Texas and Florida that tap in at that time. Because it's like in Florida, it's like 8 a.m. there and 12 a.m. So they're just waking up in the morning type of thing. Like it's all with the times for sure.
The times. That's the trick. That's the
for
trick.
sure, for sure.
Sometimes
Yeah, I would say this. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
No, I said sometimes for us, if I wake up early, like just
Yeah.
9 to 10 o'clock in the morning, it depends the day, especially the weekday, you will get the traffic for some reason on there.
That's what I was gonna say too. The weekends are a different type of traffic than the weekdays. The weekends, though, I'll say this: like Sunday night, I'm on at like 11:30, right? I'm like, damn, I got like almost 80 people in this live right now. Now I got 100. Now I almost got 200. I'm like, this is the most I had at this time before. So it's like it's all weird with the days, but I would say Sunday nights bring a lot of traffic.
I think you're right, and they try to tell people that Sundays is the worst.
But Sunday nights brings a lot of traffic. It might tell you that. Yeah, they tell you that, but Sunday nights brings a lot of traffic. Monday in the afternoon brings a lot of traffic. Also, too, for tips, too, for anybody, for gems and stuff like that, it's all about the title, too, because people will just click on the video just for the title, too. If it's like something that really catches their eye, and the thumbnail for the cover. People say work on the thumbnail.
Like, besides the YouTube streets, like when we started a pod, we said like we're really gonna do it like how a pod's supposed to be, and we put on all digital platforms. So besides YouTube, respect to YouTube, but we don't just depend on the YouTube. We're like, I can't even count all the platforms we're on, but I made sure that it was on Spotify.
Yeah, me
Apple,
too.
like iHeart, any place.
iHeart Radio, Deezer, Pandora, Apple Music, all that.
Someone to be like, not everybody learned.
Spotify
watches videos. A lot of people are listeners.
A lot of people don't want to watch the video; they just want to listen to it. And this is the thing too. I don't know if you've caught it too. People don't like to watch the long streams like that. They like to watch short clips of the stream. Their attention span right now is not going to have them sit and watch a 20, 30, 40-minute video. They want to look at a 2-3 minute TikTok clip, basically.
No, but you know why people do that? You know why? Okay. Exactly what you're saying. We're going to go back to that. The reason people do that is when they see the traffic. Just say they see like people tuning in live. That's what gives you the views. The longer you have, like, just say 50 people or 100 people, even 200 people watching you, and that's going to give you the views, right? But the harder way is to develop a video and then you upload it and post and get the same views you would get if it was live, right? And you don't have to have 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I noticed the shorter, the more views. It's what you want to say. Like I mastered that I don't have to talk long and fit the information in to 5 minutes. I could fit the information into 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes time, believe me, people will watch that more than a long thing because the short attention span now. So it's how you package it, how you edit it, because you can make it just for 5 minutes and it gets thousands of views compared to something you've been taught what has is 20 minutes.
For sure too, but I say like with the shorts though, because people like just scrolling through the shorts.
Yeah,
If you drop a bunch of streams and you cut up all your streams into
yeah,
shorts,
yeah,
like I seen one, like I had a short, it was Whack 100 and Adam talking about something and me clarifying something and commentary on it, right? I got 6,000 and 500 views off of that,
yeah.
and that was a 2 minute clip.
Yeah, and now it's three. They give you 3 minutes now. So you're right. That's what
Yeah, 3 minute, yeah.
we started to do. I could take a piece of episode we're doing, what we're saying, and make clips. I could go crazy with it if I want, right? And you're right. It does get the view. It does get the views. So content is changing. That it's short. It's short form, but it's how you package the information. If you know, just say to do the commentary, that you could put what you're trying to get across in a short time. That takes a while. Some people, they're new to it. Everybody's new to it, and they sometimes nothing wrong with it if you want to talk longer or whatever, but you don't need to.
My problem is like my mods, like the people in my chat, they want me to stay on and do a 19-hour stream, literally on the same topic. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm getting the views. But then I'm looking back at it like, damn, like we could have just clipped this to like a 30-minute video, 25-minute, like it would have got the same amount of views. But it's more so like if the people in the chat want me to sit there and stay on the same topic.
No, you know what? Everybody has their style, and I've seen a lot of people do that. But for me, right?
Yeah.
That is like what we would call foolishness. You know, the only time you should be doing that to me is if you have like a guest or a couple guests on. You want to stay on, like, for me to be interesting to watch a stream, I want to see like how me and you are talking.
Yeah.
I don't want to just see you alone and you could be explaining whatever. It's more interesting if you have more than one voice. That's
for sure.
Even this whole pod thing or whatever, what we call content, is having different voices. And that's why it makes it more interesting, because how much times people are just going to see your face and you're on there for hours and hours. That's why that's why short content is better. That your point is only 5 minutes instead of you're on stream for 3 hours and it's just you, compared to if you had 3 more guys talking to you.
No, for sure.
Because you don't have to just talk anymore. These other people have other points. They could bring up stuff to enlighten what you know, what you to say. It makes the conversation even more interesting because 3 other people, right? They have their own opinions, and that makes that stream go for that long now.
Plus, sometimes they won't let you watch that video anymore. Like, say if you go past, like with YouTube, say if you go past 19 hours, when you try to go to that video, it says video unavailable. See, I already got the views, but think of how many views more I could have got if there's other people watching it after it's already live. Like now they can't even sit there and go watch it, because once you go over a certain amount of hours on the stream, YouTube will automatically just cut it. You could see the video on your YouTube channel, but when you try to click on it, it won't let you play it. So they do little tricks like that. Like say, I think that the highest you could go for hours on a stream. Twitch doesn't care though. Twitch, you could go as long as you want. I've seen people do 2-3 day streams with Twitch. But
the longest I will go, like I said, if there's people, if I'm talking to somebody, maybe 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
But to be talking for 2 to 3 hours, I can't do that shit. I mean, because what are you talking about? Like, even if it's one thing, like all you need is maybe the longest is a half an hour. I mean, like I see these guys straight up, like we've been doing the streaming thing from before it got popular. Even this whole StreamYard shit. I remember me and my brother, right, Rob?
As soon as it came out,
the only ones we saw really doing it was Americans, right?
Yep.
Doing this, not up here. Then people start doing it. But what I'm saying is, like, the content, what people are staying on for 3 hours, because really they stay on 3 hours to get the views, eh? That's what it is, to get the views. I can't do that shit, because what are you talking about that you're going to be on that long?
But see, that's the thing. Like, okay, like I'll try to like okay, say like I did like a 4 hour stream, right? I was right about to hop off, right? But they want to keep me covering more videos about the Mo 3 thing. Like it was the whole Mo 3 incident with the how the yellow beezy and all that. Now I have like almost like 250 people from Texas in my chat saying, "Hey, play this video. Like we need you to do this video." I'm like, so sometimes like I'll just get up off my chair and I'll just turn my camera off and it will just stream. And I don't get copyrighted for it because I put the Copyright Act, the section
Yeah,
107
yeah,
in my video and I'm good. But that's the only way that I'll do it. I'm not gonna sit here and for 18 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, keep going and going and going. Like the longest I'll go where I'll sit here and I'll cover it with commentary, where I'm sitting here in the chair with the mic, is like maybe 2 hours. Like I had a guest on and we did like an hour and 50-minute
yeah.
stream, and he was already kind of getting tired of it because he was like, all right, well, what else we gonna talk about? You know what I'm saying? So
The
yeah,
only difference I see is what makes people have great conversations is when you make it interesting. Like you see the guys who are streaming the games and shit, and
yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
talking. If you are doing something like how me and you are talking right now, and we're playing a game at the same time, right? You'll be talking about the game, and you will be talking about commentary on certain subjects where you will keep you on for that long.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have to be doing some types of
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah. No, see, okay, see, and that's why like all the big streamers that like the ones that are really, up there right now, like Kai and them,
Yeah,
they're not just streaming talking about content for hours. They're doing activities, they're
yeah,
making
they're doing,
music.
yeah,
The new thing is a lot of people do it, and really I started doing it for a couple months, just like off of not even really wanting to do it. I was in the studio with the homies and we ended up making a song. We wanted to listen to it back. I forgot I was still on live because I was doing a video about some content. We was like, fuck it, just leave it on. And we just left it on. They just seen us record for like 4 hours or whatever. And we
yeah.
did like almost a tape. But people were tapping into that because we
That's
weren't
how
just
you want to
talking.
go. That's how it's supposed to be. Or if I'm going somewhere like I'm gonna go to the park,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. No, for sure.
You have somebody, either you're doing it or somebody's doing it, like recording. You going to the park,
Yeah.
you're going to play basketball, and then you have it on. You have your whatever your camera set up that it shows you playing basketball, talking shit, and then you could be on stream for long. People watch that you're playing basketball and shit.
No,
Like
for sure. For sure.
maybe you have a couple people playing and they hear you guys talking about shit in between. You could be talking same commentary going back, and they see you playing, you're doing something. The point is they see like what you're talking.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. If they're not seeing you do anything other than just me, like right here, like
yeah,
say we're right here and I
yeah,
go right here and I go to share my screen
yeah,
and now we're watching some content, all we're doing is just sitting here and we're not really commentary about nothing. Then you leave and it's just me
yeah,
right here sitting there watching the content. People are gonna leave after a while. They want to see you doing something, like you said. Like
yeah,
if we're recording in the studio, now we're showing them the process of how we
yeah.
made the beat, how we're doing the production. Now we're doing to the next song, or we going over here to go play
I'll watch
basketball.
that. I'll watch that. If I'm seeing like these guys doing in a studio session,
Yeah,
that will
yeah,
keep me longer, right, bro? Or if you see some guys actually playing basketball, like they're cursing,
yeah.
like they're and all the types of shit, and I watch that. Like, or if you're at an amusement park
No,
and
hell
stuff
yeah.
like that, like you could keep going, or you
A
go
lot.
down.
The one of my other partners, what he does is he does the MMA, the UFC type of thing, right? So what he does is like he'll sit there and do he'll do a
Yeah,
podcast, and then after that they'll go show the ring and everybody getting down and shit like that.
yeah,
So
yeah. You gotta be right now. You see how like content been changing? That's how it's gonna change. I don't know if I'm giving a gem out, but now, okay, it's all good in the studio, it's all good online, but now it's gonna go to people want to see even the commentary you in different places. Like
yeah,
like we're already down to earth, like we're raw. Like they want to see that maybe you're outside, like I say, in a park, or you're in the city. You get, I mean, like you're out. We already outside. We do it already.
yeah, yeah,
We go
for
to
sure.
events too. Like that's another thing with us. If you want to know, we're not just in a studio like all these other platforms. My brother just came back from an event just tonight.
Oh,
Do
okay.
coverage. We do coverage. People ask for us. So that's another thing. What's different? You don't see that in the algorithm, right? We're not big, huge, all the time on
No, no, you don't. You
on
don't.
online. But guess what? In our city, compared to a lot of people, people know us in Toronto in the six. We could say that confidently. People know who we are. We put down for the culture and all that shit. So there's some people who have no disrespect. They could have they're starting their platforms or they had a platform, right? But unless you have a resume like us, you ain't put it down because besides doing shit online, we went outside and helped, free, doing charity, covering the events,
Yeah,
artists,
no,
the
that
first
that and
interview,
that
the first interview.
that's more to build up your catalog too, you know.
Yeah,
So for sure.
there's a lot of artists we helped promote it over the years. We've done interviews for with them at events. Worked with other promoters, people who have their own platforms. Like we've done a whole bunch of stuff. Like I can't even
I
name.
feel like that's the new content too now. The new wave is the interviews. That's what I've been doing lately. A lot of interviews. Like what I do is like I'll ask a couple questions, but if there are artists, what we'll do is we'll turn it into like a music review because a lot of my fans like that. They like to hear that person's music. So I ask them, hey, what do you think your best song is off of this album? Let's watch it. We put it on the screen. Now we talk about that. Now we go to the next, and then we talk about the new like.
You know what?
I feel
What
like it
we
doesn't
do?
have to be federal for the interviews, bro. And that's what Adam 22 doesn't understand,
A
and
lot of
Vlad
people went
TV
away
doesn't.
from that though. You see, like what you're saying, we always do that still. We still do that. But I think a lot of people went away from that and went into like another space. That's why you see like maybe especially the hip hop genre, the sales, as they mentioned, went down at a certain point, or you guess because what we're saying there. You get what I mean? Like they're not how much even podcasts you see spotlighting any of the artists consistently. Let's say
That's why I'm.
consistent.
That's what I'm saying. We need to get back to that though, because like I
We,
said,
we
like
can
the
we point it
interviews.
out right now. Who's consistently promoting the artist, like saying, "Oh, he has an album coming out," because and we heard about it because he got interviewed by this guy.
I mean, there really isn't like that because okay, I'll say this. A lot of the times when all these artists are going on the interviews, they're asking them is controversial questions about what happened in the media with them. They're not asking about the music anymore like that.
But there's no see, but there should be platforms. What just is all about that.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's what No Jumper was though. If you go back to a couple years ago, you go back to 2017 and 2018 when XXX Tentacion and all those people were around still. They were going to see Adam 22. They weren't talking about nothing but the music. He was somebody that was going to different shows and stuff like that and interviewing the artists at festivals and stuff like that about the music. His whole platform turned into making everything federal. Let me get you to tell on yourself. Let
Because
me get you to tell about your gang beef with this person.
but it
Let
seemed
me
like you're gonna get the same type of artists on his platform anymore. Like I haven't seen anybody recently who's like current on his platform.
not for like there's artists, yes, that go on there,
But
but
no
like I
one
said,
current. No one who's current and is known big, like pop wise, like Amigos,
nah,
takeoffs. You know what I mean? Like I mean,
he
that's it.
can't. Okay, like
Uh,
I'll say this, like his biggest interview like that probably was probably Kevin Gates, and that didn't even get uploaded.
okay.
So like a
Well,
lot of
now
that.
we're dissecting this straight up right now. Kevin Gates, respect to Kevin Gates. Okay,
Respect to Kevin Gates, yeah, for sure.
No Jumper is a bit supposed to be this hip hop platform, but
That's what I
we
said. Yeah.
can't name 10 hip hop artists like who are current, like I would say, who's been on his platform.
And when you say current, you mean like currently on the charts, like
Yeah,
somebody
currently
big.
on the charts in the last 2 years. Just say 2 years.
Um, yeah, I can't. Like he only interviews the people that are popping for the moment. He hasn't really got any like if we go to his page right now, right? And we pull up the last.
You would remember it. We can't remember. Okay, for example, if the South been kicking ass for the last 5 years, and just say his podcast been around for 5 years, the South been kicking ass. None of those people from the South, especially Atlanta, I have seen on Adam 22 show.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one of the baddest chicks, like for example Cardi B, since she came out. Has she been on his show?
No,
Okay,
no.
that's an example. You see what I mean? Like this guy can't get. You know what it is? He can't get them.
Do you remember Chuck Liddell, the UFC fighter?
Yeah.
He had him on his show.
No, he could get certain other people tapped in, but I noticed that I dissected. He cannot get certain people. Maybe they don't respect him or whatever, but he cannot get. For example, for example, Drink Champs could get even some old school rappers who come on their show. Drink Champs with Nori and them.
Mm-hmm.
But Adam 22 supposed to have
Adam got King Von and Lil Durk one time, but that was years ago.
Yes. So recent times, what I'm saying, as it's supposed to be the bigger now, Adam.
But I would say DJ Vlad gets more of those people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some reason to certain sections of people who don't respect Adam 22, and a revolution is happening now. I'm seeing a revolution is happening. I don't know if it's a silent attack on No Jumper. I'm giving you this, brother. This is popping. I see it from here afar. There's a revolution happening against No Jumper. You see what happened with those guys who came there and they got embarrassed and shit, right? They got locked up.
Yeah.
I'm watching something what's going on. The two guys who've been covering a lot of other, like these two guys I got introduced to ever since covering this Whack 100 shit and the No Jumper shit, who's big, is this guy named Compton Rick Rock.
Yeah, shout out to Compton Rick Rock. Big. He's big in the universe right now. Shout out to Compton Rick Rock for sure.
And Nina Boy. I think Nina.
Shout out to Nina Boy too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So guess what? I see him with Snoop. When I see you with Snoop, that means that's your coronation. Snoop Dogg is with you, sitting down with you, with Big Boy, the other guy who's a legend, there with you. And I think there's another guy who was there. When you see Snoop put you on and he's making you listen to his recent album, recording you on video with him, he's not going to academics, he's not going to Adam 22, and I'm calling it now because I'm watching these guys shit. If I introduce my brother to watch this guy shit because he never heard of Compton Rick Rock, you would like this guy shit. So you know what? Adam 22, No Jumper, you're gonna jump on the bandwagon. These guys are taking over the content shit fully in the West Coast. They're taking over the shit now.
For sure.
So if those guys want to do an interview platform now, like how Adam 22 has a space, everybody's going to them in the West Coast.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt. Like there's a lot of people now that are content creators like in the YouTube universe, like Compton Rick Rock. He did do interviews before, just it really never got big like that. Like he did Crip Max.
It's gonna come back. It's gonna I see him with Snoop. All I have to see is Snoop Dogg, right? Have these guys on, and I never met them through Snoop Dogg. I knew these guys from just looking on the YouTube, like searching YouTube.
Yeah.
So to see them with Snoop, and everybody knows Snoop makes everything big. Instagram he popularized.
For sure.
So now for sure. Those guys' views or their followers
skyrocket.
It's the same thing with Kendrick. Didn't Snoop give like Kendrick the blessing? And look what happened. Even they call him the king of LA and shit like that. Kendrick and shit, right? That's what we see. So no difference is what's going on with this guy, Compton Rick Rock and Nino Boy, right? Nino Boy.
No, they're big right now for sure.
So they're gonna take over the West Coast podcast, the West Coast content shit. Those two and the other guy, I know him from Community. The other guy, he's doing his thing. What's his name? I forgot his name.
You talk about AD or Ace?
AD, he was there. So this to me is the coronation of those guys. So and
shout
AD,
out to the community, yeah, for sure.
And I think a community says fuck what it's called No Jumper.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, they don't mess with them.
Okay, so that's all I gotta hear. So now I see that's the shit what's going on. That's the shit what's going on. And in the mix, Whack 100's in the mix and all that shit.
Yeah, well, okay, so a lot of people do podcasts off of Clubhouse and then they post the clips or their audio and then put like pictures in the video and put it on YouTube. So like Whack 100, he's somebody that kind of like pioneered that because he was the first person to really go on Clubhouse with everybody and do paperwork parties and read people's paperwork and all this other stuff. And people kind of like snapped into that. and made their own little rooms and stuff on Clubhouse. And now they have their own podcast and they do interviews on there and they just upload it to YouTube. But I feel like you're gonna see a lot of that switch over just to YouTube. Like Clubhouse probably isn't gonna be around too much more either though, because a lot of people have been like more incriminating themselves on Clubhouse. Like if you remember the young Scooter case a couple months back, like maybe a month back, when young Scooter passed away due to that female saying that you know that they're endangering a child and stuff like that, and all that stuff happened, right? That was spoke about on Clubhouse before anything came out with the case.
Shit.
There was a lady on Clubhouse speaking that saying that was my friend. The only reason that she lied on Scooter like that was because she had a female with her and she was you know, pimping her out, and that female didn't come back to her and give her any money. She ended up just having a threesome with Scooter and his homie.
Oh shit.
And so that female felt some type of way, so she left.
Called police.
Went to a whole nother location saying she was still in that area, and then made the report. And then that's, you know, when everything went down. But what I'm saying is so crazy because we heard about it on Clubhouse first. Of course, we heard on the news, yeah, okay, young Scooter passed away, rest in paradise and all that. But we didn't hear anything about Danny, what her name was, Danny, something like that. She made a false report, and nobody knew about that until like maybe a week to 2 weeks later. We heard about that on like Thursday before young Scooter died.
So wait, Clubhouse is popular down there still? Like we know about Clubhouse, but
Clubhouse, I'm saying that Clubhouse, a lot of people be getting their content from Clubhouse because there's people on there that speak a lot on there about certain cases and certain topics and stuff like that, where it's the information you could not find on YouTube or any media platform.
Damn. So you know what that shows me? That means an algorithm, by using Clubhouse, hits an algorithm on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you want your content to kind of maybe go like get an audience, if you're on Clubhouse, you could get an audience to go to your YouTube.
Yeah, no, for sure, because
I don't use Clubhouse, but
it's just like it's just like say for instance, I go on TikTok, right, and I go on live for a little bit, and I speak about a certain subject and some content with a case, whatever it is. Everybody that was on the live on that TikTok is gonna follow me to my YouTube.
Yeah.
To check it out. So it's like the same type of way with Clubhouse. But what I'm saying with Clubhouse though is they're probably gonna be shut down soon though, because there's a lot of different things that wouldn't really be told unless somebody accidentally said it on Clubhouse. Now what people do, like a Whack 100 type of person does, is they screen record that.
Oh shit.
And that information right there goes onto YouTube, and now it's content to somebody else reacting to it, bro. So that's the whole thing. But what I was going to say is this. I'm going to give you a little some information that nobody knows about Adam 22. Adam 22 has been receiving funds from the FBI to specifically interview certain people on certain cases since 2018.
I could believe that. I could believe that. I could believe that. And you know what? I don't know, man. Straight up, like, now that you're saying that, you see what you just said there?
Yeah, he's been receiving money from the FBI to specifically interview like specific people that they handpick for him that are on major cases to get them to fess up about certain crimes and incriminate themselves.
I don't know if anyone thinks I'm crazy, but you ever look on how his eyes is when he's asking a question?
Yeah.
The way how he asks the question, if you look on his eyes, right? This how police this is like how police do like certain things. How
it's a police tactic. Yeah, it's a police tactic.
He puts his face, how he looks at people and like asks questions and just listens to them is how a police would.
Or a detective.
Someone who's trained, someone who's kind of trained to do like, you
more
know,
like I wouldn't say an officer necessarily, but more like a detective.
Yeah, he seems no joke, not like somebody pretending like he's been trained. I'm sorry, he's trained in what like that, like someone really put him through a course. This is what you do. This is how you get them mentally. Like he actually does.
I mean, think about it like this. Think about it like this. If you go back to the reason why AD and those people from Community left, No Jumper, Do Knows, T-Rail, all those people on Back on Fig, shout out to all them. The reason they left was because of that scandal with Adam 22, where everybody figured out that he was a pedophile. So,
Oh, that's what's slowly coming back up.
so
Oh shit, that's slowly.
this is what I was gonna say is think about it like this. There was 16 different girls that came out on the case saying that Adam did stuff to them, right? On different these different little pages. They were like
That
chat
comment.
rooms, basically chat rooms, right?
Yeah.
And those were for sure documented cases. Now, how do you think that he never received no jail time?
Yeah, because he's with them.
Because
Dirty.
he's working with them. Yeah.
Dirty.
And people like to say so much about Brick Baby and all that, right? But really, Brick, there's no paperwork on Brick's name. Brick has never snitched before.
So
All these times that he beat these cases because he had good lawyers and stuff like that. But yeah, Brick was never a snitch. Whack 100 though, there's a whole case on Whack 100 though. Whack 100, if you go to the case where him and his brother got arrested in Texas and they did 6 days in jail and they were supposed to be facing 20 years for a gun with a body on it, and all of a sudden the judge let them go after 6 days, and then all of a sudden right after that, the the Main Street Mafia Crips, they go down in the indictment, and the head leader of the Main Street Mafia Crips, Dale Dog, was the last person to talk to Whack 100. You can't tell me that's a coincidence. Like, come on now. Like, it's all in your face. But this is the thing, though. Whack knows that he's a rat. And that's why he gets and exposes people when they call him a rat, because that's the biggest thing that everybody has on him. Even Gene Deal, I don't know if you know who Gene Deal is, somebody that was the bodyguard for P. Diddy, right?
Yeah.
He said he was with Whack 100 in the 90s when they was with DJ K Slay. And he said that Whack wasn't acting like how he is now. He was really timid. He was soft. He was from Pomona, but he wasn't big gang banging like how he is now, like everything Paul Rule and all that shit. He wasn't on that. And he said that he was moving like a Fed. He said he was moving like a Fed. And so the thing about Whack is I could care less if he tries to, like, he tried to kick me completely off of Clubhouse. He IP banned me because I'm from San Diego, and we have really big problems with him because he took one of our San Diego artists and he said that he was going to make a documentary for his dad, rest in paradise. He was going to make a documentary for Big Earn, which is somebody this is a artist out here in San Diego that passed away. That was a big artist, and him and Nick Cannon were supposed to put out a documentary for the homie's dad, right? And then all of a sudden it switched over. You could even look at it on No Jumper. Whack 100 talked about it. His name is Baby Earn, which is the homie's son, but the homie's dad was Big Earn. He basically sat there and tried to say that the homie was like on psych meds, and he started talking about his mom, saying that his mom was on the the prostitution area, doing on the blade basically and stuff like that. And he was really just really disrespectful. He is calling San Diego soft, saying San Diego Zoo, San Diego Wild, what's SeaWorld and stuff like that. Nothing happens in San Diego and all this other stuff. And he was just really disrespectful. So me and the homie went on Clubhouse and we raised our hand in the room to talk to Whack. And we couldn't even get a minute with him because he was so scared. He just kept kicking us off, blocking us off all the pages. And then anytime that I talk about Whack on my podcast, like I talked about Whack with a person named Keeping Up Code with the Streets over there in Houston. Shout out to her. She do her podcast too. When I did that, they copyrighted my video and they flagged it. So anytime that I speak about Whack like that, like I don't really care now because it's like, but Whack is somebody that's really powerful in the media right now. I'll say that.
I believe that because that's why he linked with that's why he linked with the academics, and he make sure he's with Adam 22. Because if what you're saying with Adam 22, which that news is just kind of breaking out there, but what you're saying, right? He has some good people to cover it up. He made sure that he kind of really dealt with that shit to make it kind of be quiet for a long time. But
I
now,
mean, why do you, this is another thing too. Why do you think that Wack always goes on there talking about, oh, I got the tapes. I got the tapes for this person's sex tape, this person's domestic violence
you got
tape.
to come on out of it.
Yeah, I got the body cam footage and all this stuff. Wack's been doing this stuff for years. Ever since he went down in that case with his brother and he turned over state's evidence and turned over people, he worked as a tow truck driver moving loads, right? But there's no proof of that. They said it was a tow truck company. They were moving the trucks and stuff like that. Really, he was involved with human trafficking. They was moving people. Like, he's been involved with all this stuff. He was involved with the Epsteins.
The
Like,
only difference is when you work directly with the feds, you're a special guy. So
yeah,
that
for
shows
sure.
you if you're saying all of this, right? All these people who are talking, including us, we say it. But
Like, he knew about the Diddy stuff way before we did.
okay, put
He
it this
knew
way.
about
He's
all that.
like people may laugh and say, no, this guy's just a little idiot. No. He knows people.
Yeah, for sure.
And when you know people like it, you could like him.
He extorted what's his name? He extorted Oscar De La Hoya for a video of him wearing a dress. We would never know nothing about that unless he said something about it.
Yeah.
This is stuff that nobody knows about. So he's somebody that keeps people's secrets for them.
That's why he has this
tape.
His trend, his new thing called exposure.
The Ray J and Kim Kardashian sex tape. He said he had that tape 2, 3, 4 years before it leaked.
That's why he calls his thing now the exposers.
The exposers, yes.
He champions himself like that. So what
shout out to IBM and them too. They're trying to take the exposers down, and they really,
you know what?
they're doing a good.
No, this is what I'm saying. Bless up to IBM and this. But I was telling even those brothers, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, you know what WAC 100 is? A PI.
Yeah.
Right? Private investigator.
Yeah.
He was probably always that. He was always into that shit from a long time ago. So when you have a guy who's an OG and he's raw with it, I hear him talk. He doesn't basically give a shit if you call him this or you call him that, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
He's almost telling you like Charleston White. You know how Charleston White is saying, "Yeah, well, I do the." You know who Charleston White is, right?
Charleston White's a federal person.
Yeah, but he doesn't. The point is, that language, and I understand it on the internet, doesn't affect them. They don't give a shit if you're saying
they don't.
All that shit.
But who really? But does it really matter in general right now to be called a snitch or a rat? Because a lot of people.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So that whole thing doesn't work, and in a way, they're using that energy of you calling them that because they want you. They want to be. That gives them more attention now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and they're probably saying in a way, who gives a shit? Because, for example, now if you study the game like the Mafia guys, one of the biggest guys was Sammy Gravano. He ratted out John Gotti. What happened to him? This guy now, when he came out, got protection from the FBI. He got a business. He got business, right? And then he went back selling drugs and went back to jail. Came out, and now he has a podcast, or he's been on podcasts.
Yeah. Okay, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. You're talking about the guy that he just did an interview with, Suge Knight, and he's a retired mob member. But they say he told on everybody in the mob.
So I didn't know he done an interview with Suge Knight, but that guy's been in the mafia for years, had a whole bunch of bodies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like, you see what I mean? Like he was known as the Big Rat. So people like WAC 100 don't give a shit if you're calling him like really psychology, like. Remember, I'm an OG too, near that man's age. How he's thinking, he don't care about even your young boys, your way of thinking, right? To him, does not matter. It's not in his.
The only thing you could do to hurt Wack's feelings like that, for him to really get out of character where he cares about it, is if you mention his gay son, because he will not claim his son at all. He will not claim his son at all, and his son is a homosexual man. He be on TikTok doing his thing. That's a known fact. Everybody that brings that up, that's what gets to Wack. But you calling him a rat, you calling him a federal agent, he doesn't give a hell about that.
I didn't even know that shit, but but I'm saying some people could be on a certain level. Like some people call this cold, but he's on a certain level. Like no matter what you say, to him, especially if
Yeah.
he's getting money, especially if he's getting something, or he's in the media. People are talking. We're talking about him. That makes him on another thinking that, yo, he's playing games with you other guys who think you got his spotlight. You want his spotlight. He's thinking, I'm not going to give you light.
I
I
mean,
know
just
people.
see what he did with Loose Cannon, where he had Loose Cannon sit there and incriminate himself on No Jumper about that robbery at that dispensary, and then about that call where Nipsey Hussle called him 30 minutes before Nipsey Hussle died, and Big
So
U
what do you
called
think?
him.
Okay, see how you just said that? I don't know. We're getting deep, but what do you think? You said incriminate himself when he was on
Yeah,
it. So you feel
yeah.
that he incriminated himself when
No,
he.
because okay. And then Wack tried to act like he didn't know that what Loose Cannon was talking about. And Loose says to him, I quote, he says, remember, Unc, what I was telling you about the other day? He was like, what you talking about, nephew? I don't know. What are you talking about? He's like, remember when I was talking about, when we did that job or whatever, like at the dispensary, and then like I get like 20, 30 minutes later, Big U calls me and it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna give them half of what we took from them. But it was more words than that. But Wack was somebody sitting there like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, but this is already rehearsed for Loose to say that. He was like, okay, we're gonna go on No Jumper. You're gonna say this, but his body language and his demeanor when Loose was like, nah, Unc, you know what I'm talking about? Like, one of the stuff I was telling you the other day. And he's like, I don't know, nah, nephew, I don't know, what were you referring to? I don't know. So that's right there, as he was already having him incriminate himself for that. He had him, that podcast that they did with Loose Cannon and Sharice Mills, the first time that Loose Cannon went on No Jumper, there was 3 different cases that he talked about on there that were already things that the feds didn't know about. So those 3 things are in the indictment right now that he's facing.
So my thing is this: didn't he need? I'm gonna ask you because you might know a little bit more. Did Loose Cannon not know about Whack 100, like his background from before? Like he came on to, link up with him.
Loose Cannon, at first, you could go back and you could look at it. Loose and Wack, they didn't get along at first. And then what happened was, I think it might have been, was it Academics? I think Academics interviewed Loose Cannon, and then Wack and 600 linked up, and then they started bringing Loose Cannon into the clubhouse rooms. Then once that happened, Wack said, hey, I'm going to take you on No Jumper. And then they started creating that relationship. But no, Loose Cannon didn't really know nothing about Wack prior to the exposures and all these things coming up since, let's just say, the past 2 years. So Wack and Loose Cannon have only known each other for about 2 years.
But like Wack was known on the internet for a good while, more than 2 years, right?
But he didn't really know about, the only side that he knew about from Wack was like him being on Clubhouse, doing the paperwork parties and stuff like that. And really, Wack wasn't. Yeah, Wack's been known for about 3-4 years or whatever. But really, all people knew for Wack was, oh, that's Blueface's manager. That's the game's manager.
See, you know what? Maybe how I analyzed it, way before all of this stuff hit off at No Jumper.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I interviewed Loose Cannon too. Before I knew about any Loose Cannon shit, I knew about Whack 100, his whole how he is. And my opinion already, I knew he was a Fed police, hip hop police. We call him the hip hop police. Long time before, way before all of this shit, I knew of him months ago, even months before all of this No Jumper stuff. I done content on this guy.
The first time that I really tuned into Wack, I mean, I knew about Wack for years too, but the first time I tuned into Wack was when he was on the what was it? The Gilly and Wallow show. Shout out to Gilly and Wallow.
I seen him on that.
And he was talking about Nipsey Hussle having a sex tape with a man. And he was talking about all these different artists. He said, I'm the one that keeps the secrets. I'm the one that keeps the tapes and stuff like that. And that was like maybe 2000 and 2017, maybe 18. I think that
Yeah,
was that.
time around those times. I would say 18.
Yeah. So that's when I caught him. And then I caught him also saying after Nipsey Hussle died, they said, what do you think about Nipsey Hussle? And he said, well, he wasn't, I can't call him a legend because he didn't sell 1 million records when he was alive. Just because after he passed away, his records went gold, he's not a legend.
Yeah,
And
so
a lot of people looked at him like, oh, well, he's a hater, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But no, there's way more deeper depth into the issues that he had with Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle and Wack, they didn't get along for the said reason, not just because Wack's a blood and Nip was from 6-0, but because of the relationship that Big U had with Wack 100. And
yeah,
the relationship that Big U had with Wack 100 was they both were extorting people, and Big U was trying to extort Nip. And the other thing too is what's it called? Wack was putting out rumors about Nipsey Hussle while he was while he's alive, about the gay sex tape and all these other things, as well as he would have people like, he did it to Lil Wayne though too. He'd have like people come and
yeah,
disrupt the shows, like Bloods would disrupt the shows and not welcome Lil Wayne to LA. He'd also have people that say if Nip went to Atlanta or these other places, Wack would have these people outside the show to shut down the show so Nip couldn't perform. So there's a lot of different back and forth things between Wack 100 and Nipsey Hussle, but part of it was because of the control that Big U had in the situation, and Big U's second man to him was Wack 100. They're like basically partners in crime.
because I was gonna tell you, like, bless up to IBM, the fam, but
Yeah, for
when,
sure. Bless up to IBM. Actually, IBM Par Draco is coming on the platform next Saturday. So
yeah,
yeah.
Pardraco, I met Pardraco first before I even knew about the IBM, before I even seen him with the IBM. I'll be honest, right? So I talked to Pardraco at least 2 times. We chopped it up on the pod, right? So maybe 2 or 3 times, a couple times, but either way, right? Like when I seen how it's called the whole thing going down, because after I interviewed Loose Cannon, I started to see him online more. Like this is in my real time, right? After I interviewed him, I seen him online more. But before I interviewed him, the way how I knew Loose Cannon was through that interview on No Jumper as a clip. That he was the guy with the phone thing that went viral for
Yeah.
whenever that started, about him knowing about like Nip. That was the story. I didn't know who this guy was until
And that interview came out 2022.
2022. I remember seeing this is the guy. There was a guy who actually spoke with Nip. He was known as the guy who spoke with Nip. That's what I know. Loose Cannon, the clip
Or
of.
actually, I could be wrong. It might have been 2000. No, I think it was 2022. I don't think it was 2023. If it was 2023, it was early 2023.
So this is what I was seeing. When I seen, like, at first, I thought they were cool with Wack, right? And when I thought they were cool with Wack that time, right? Because I didn't want to disrespect. I thought, wait a minute, because I know that Wack posted our platform on his shit, right? And I know Paradraco, because Paradraco knows Wack. He
Yeah.
mentioned. So when I seen that, I was saying, like, to me, how I was saying, yo, they kind of had some type of respect for Wack, because from the beginning, I just didn't want to say it. I looked on Wack differently than, like, I was looked on Wack as a police, hip hop police. Like all the stuff where people are calling Wack 100 now, you see, we've been saying that in the six a long time. That's like dust. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Calling it Wack 100 way before I'm seeing I'll be straight up, all these content makers from the West Coast talk. We've been saying that shit. Anybody you hear in Toronto know about Wack 100, they call him like Rat 100.
Yeah, that's what we call him out here too. Rat
Because he's
100.
been talking about, like, like he didn't make it loud, but he been talking about Drake. he been talking about.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could go back to that too. The thing that he said about Drake, where he said that he has a tape too that would end Drake's career. He's
That's
been saying that for a couple years. He's saying that he has a tape that'll end Drake's career where with Drake doing something to somebody. I don't know. I guess maybe it was an underage girl or underage fan.
he didn't
But
have nothing.
he
He
says he
didn't,
has a tape.
he didn't have nothing. He didn't have anything. But this is what I was surprised. Like when I seen at first, like they were like, I don't know if it was full respect, but they know of him, and I think that time when I talked to them, that's when it started to change the relationship, right? Because I think the IBM they were cool with Whack 100 because Loose Cannon was going on the platform with Whack, right?
Yeah.
At one point. But those from long time ago, like I was looking on like, I'm not saying you really trust him, but I was looking on like Whack 100 is a rat, like a police. From long, that's how
Yeah,
we
no,
see
the
him.
IBM people barely just stopped messing with them though. They used to be cool with them.
That's what I mean. Like I from long time for years, I looked on that guy. He talk. He knows too much. He knows too much. He
For
know
sure.
how come he knows all these people's shit? How he knows all this stuff?
What's so crazy is, yeah, every single thing that hits the fan, like new cases, like let's just say, for instance, the Little Dirt case with
Yeah,
him getting charged with murder for hire, right? Wack was already talking about that like maybe 6, 7 months before they picked him up. He was talking
yeah.
about, oh, there's different camera footage of when they were supposed to hit Quando Rondo that day and Little Pop died and all that stuff. So for him to sit there and say, oh, it was Brick Baby that was the first person to put it out there, nah. Wack was already talking about it. All Brick Baby said was, "Oh, you can't say they can't. You can't say that they slide for Vaughn anymore because they already did for they did slide for Vaughn because they killed Lil Pop or whatever." But all he was saying was that's what the fans were saying because the fans were saying, "Oh, you can't say slide for Vaughn anymore,"
You
and
know
that's
what?
why academics brought that up too. He's like, "Hey, you don't see the fans saying slide for Vaughn anymore," and Dirk looks at him like, "Yeah, I don't know, it just kind of fell off. Nobody says it anymore."
You
Like,
know.
and he takes a drink of his water and he's like, "Must be the water or something. It's different out here in the shy," because he knew that academics was trying to get him to incriminate himself
Mm,
in something like Adam 22 would do. And what I'm saying is, Wack is always the main person to tell us, oh, so and so and so and so and so is going to go down for this case.
that's why I'm not surprised. I'm sorry. It's like he lined people up. When Brick
Yeah,
was on the show with Loose that
yeah,
time, when they said that Brick had a weapon on him, that was like the sign.
yeah. So when they asked Adam about that, right? And Adam was like, "Oh, I didn't know that he had it on him or what." If you didn't know that he had him on, if he had it on him, right, and all that, and you didn't want him to incriminate himself more because he was already in jail by the time they put the clip out, then you shouldn't have had the editor literally pause it and zoom in on his pants where the pole was. You can't tell me that you didn't know that he had it. That was for content that you wanted him to incriminate himself more because they zoom in the camera and you could see. You could
No,
only see the butt though. You could see like
the
literally
main
this
it's
part.
not even just the gun. The main thing is this: no jumper, Whack 100, Adam 22. I knew their police, the hip hop police. I watched that for entertainment from even before Loose Cannon. So when I'm gonna be sorry, whoever went on that platform, right? As long as you've been on there, the police was watching you. The feds was watching you. I don't know if Loose didn't know before he went on that platform, but that fucking was a police platform before he was on that shit. They
No,
were
for
already,
sure. I was gonna say like they if you look at the indictment for the Big U indictment, right?
yeah.
They were taking evidence from No Jumper in other podcasts. It says it
Mhm.
literally on there. It says it on there. It says No Jumper, Vlad TV,
I
uh,
just,
and
yeah,
Cam Capone News. those platforms were being broken down in the case. So the feds watch podcasts to get information. What
Yes.
is the biggest podcast that they watch? No Jumper. So that should tell you right there that they're the main source for the feds to get their information.
So put it this way, even if you're trying to be in the entertainment industry, I'm gonna be straight up. Some people don't want to hear this. If you know you're doing anything illegal, don't put yourself amplified on any platform. Or if you're even associated with anything illegal, don't go on any platform to amplify that shit. Any past shit you have done, don't even talk about that shit.
That's the way that like I run my interviews. Like I said, like I don't ask federal questions.
Yes.
I don't say like, oh, okay, it shows that you went down for this crime. You did how many years in prison? No, we just leave it at that. Oh, you did 10 years.
But
okay,
I'm gonna
cool.
be straight up, man. Unless you are a certain industry level, don't go on talking none of those shit them on any like. If you're not like, who else? Snoop Dogg and people like that, where it has money to talk, they could talk that if they want, and they don't, but they can afford to pay for that to get a lawyer and come out very quick.
Yeah.
You cannot be talking about no gangster shit or nothing, even if you are gangster shit on these podcasts if you don't have the money to get ready for like a good lawyer.
For sure.
Because if you're a guy who is just like getting by and your career is not like recognizable, like you're known locally, maybe known in a part, but not internationally, and you're going on Adam 22 shit, and you're or someone like that, and you're talking about anything, even if you think it's not you who done it, or I know of it. Remember this. I don't know. I'm not even American, but I know the laws kind of. As long as you're aware of it, you're associated with it. You talk and you're being seen with a person who's been involved in it, and you're on camera. You're fucking with it.
Yeah,
You're
no,
all
for
with
sure.
it. That's
For
why,
sure.
yo, I'm gonna be straight up. Who's been on video with Big U?
Whack 100.
Who else been on video with Big U? I'm being
Adam
honest.
22.
Who else been on video with him?
Loose Cannon.
That's my point, right? That's true. If the guy if these are a big criminal, right? A big guy like a mafia boss, and you are on video with him, even if they didn't hear that you done anything, like they didn't hear nothing, right? But as long as they see you on the fucking video with that man, right? They're gonna maybe even lock you up one day. Or they're gonna.
I mean, why do you think they made that? Why do you think they made that narrative that they picked up Adam 22? The feds picked up Adam 22. It was like maybe about a month ago. They picked him up and they asked him about the questions when Loose Cannon was on there stating that Big U has something to do with the death of Nipsey Hussle.
I'm gonna be straight up, man. I'm gonna be straight up.
And what did they ask Adam for? They asked him for the tape of that episode.
So I'm gonna be straight up, man. Straight up, because even you probably know if more than me, and I see how American law is. They don't give a fuck. As long as they see you associated in some way, video camera, and especially talking about the crime, like they're taking you in.
Without a doubt.
They're locking you out, right? It's no matter what, as long as you're associated or you mention, I know of, or I witnessed, or I talked to this guy, or was a relationship, because this RICO thing, look up the definition. You could even look it up, the definition. As long you don't even have to be fully involved. As long as you say you're a Crip, you see how they catch you? As long as you say you are a Crip, a rolling 60 Crip.
So okay, look, that's what's so crazy about that, right? So the indictment was on the Rolling 60 Crips, right? But they didn't say that it was just the LA Rolling 60 Crips. All the sections of the Rolling 60s in every state is going down in the indictment right now.
Yes, it's like organized crime. They're targeting it the same way like the mafia. So I'm sorry if you are any of the guys who are claiming Rolling 60 Crip. Either you're telling the truth or you're lying. You better not claim it, right? because they'll look up video and say, "Oh no, I didn't say I'm part of the Rolling 60 Crip," but then they see a video recording of you saying you are Rolling 60. They're not thinking. See, this is another thing because I'm talking to the brother right here. They're not thinking you're the street definition or your definition to justify that. Oh, it's part of our culture, or he doesn't mean it like that. They're just looking at it through the law system that you are calling yourself Rolling 60 Crip, and you're
And
right.
that's
That one state.
you're documenting yourself as a documented gang member when you say that you're part of the Rolling 60s right now, because the Rolling 60s are in a federal RICO
Yes.
all over the world, every
So
state.
if Brick Baby says he's a Crip, Rolling 60, he's in it. If Loose says he's a Rolling 60, he's in it. Forget all the other stuff. Let's forget all the other talk, all the evidence, all the shit. As long as you say that you are a Crip, they got you.
Yeah,
And
no, for
and
sure, for
they
sure.
see a picture. They see you with whatever pictures and videos. I'm just, for example, the Puffy thing. There's so much with, for example, with Puff Daddy, other stories, what they're not telling us, and that's why he's locked. There's guns.
Okay, now
Guns in a
you
whole
see
bunch.
everybody that they've been picking up to and questioning is these people might have not even witnessed anything that Diddy did, but they just happened to be around at a Diddy party, or they happened to be around at an event with Diddy. They're getting picked up and questioned.
Yes. So that's the same thing with this whole thing with the no
Yeah,
jumper thing, right? So I'm gonna be straight up. As I done my research, I saw videos with our guy Loose with Big U. I seen videos like that, and people
yeah,
say, "What's wrong with that?" No, this man's a big gang leader. It's like if you were an Italian guy around John Gotti, but you might not be part of the mafia, fully part
yeah.
of the mafia. But you tell me they're not gonna see.
Now,
Oh, you were always around. I see.
what's so crazy about just stating Big U in a lot of situations, right? Big U is somebody that supposedly they said he had something to do allegedly with the whole PNB Rock thing. Was when PNB Rock came to
Right.
LA and passed away and all that, right? So the other thing is too, Big U, the last couple, the day before Draco the Ruler passed away,
Mhm.
the last people that Draco the Ruler was with before he went to that event, the concert where they stabbed him, he was with Big U and he was with Loose Cannon in the studio.
My whole
So what's so crazy about that, right? Is, and then guess who else was at the show that night?
who
Whack 100.
you see?
And Whack 100 was the main one telling Draco, be cool about what you say when you come up here, because all the bloods are already on you, because you made that Ingleweird song, which is a diss on Inglewood, right? Now, Loose Cannon goes on an interview and says that Draco called him the day of the concert and said, "Hey, can you come with me to the show and have your people with me, because I don't feel comfortable going to the show." So what Loose says is he calls YG's people and he tells them, "Hey, my bro Draco coming to the show tonight. Don't do nothing stupid or nothing. He already doesn't feel comfortable, and he's only going with his brother and two other people." Now, the person that killed Draco, right, was YG's bodyguard.
Mm.
So all this adds up to the fact that I'm not trying to smut Loose or nothing, but he is involved just because of the said fact that he knew Big U at that time and he was cool with him in a lot of different deadly situations that are going to come to light.
But it's not good, like it or not, man. Like I'm an OG and I'm being real. That's why some people don't like the real. Listen, as long as you are seen communicating with anyone who's involved in any type of actions, what is not, you know, you don't like what you just mentioned. you put yourself in the spotlight.
Yeah.
You just make the job easy for the feds.
Yeah.
They don't have to go in the street anymore. They watch you on the internet talking.
Now, okay, like now let's go back to how people incriminate themselves lately on YouTube. Like you go to 600. 600 makes a video saying that he knows about a murder that Big U was involved with that happened in 2021 with the Las Vegas football player
Oh,
that was friends with Big U's son, right? And who was also an artist. He goes to say that there's evidence that Big U's fingernails, like his
yeah.
like the calluses of his fingernails, were found in the evidence with the body of the victim, right? He says that like maybe 3 months before the case actually pops up.
Mm.
And the mother speaks on it and comes out to TMZ saying that she thinks that Big U was definitely involved in her son's death.
You know what the big problem is? This is the big problem. Certain
So
people,
people are already just
certain people, you shouldn't be talking talk your business. Don't talk controversial shit what's not really your business.
that part.
Right? Because I know, like, straight up down here, maybe it's just different in other places. It could be different culturally, but there's certain things, like you see, like those things, no one really talks that shit down here. Like the street shit is talked about, but it's how we see like No Jumper and people actually going on these platforms like on No Jumper, and I've seen it even with others down there too.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are talking about any street shit that doesn't exist here. That just does not fuck. It's more underground, I would say. It's like you never gonna hear somebody talking about any of those stories what I heard you say on anything. That'll never happen.
No, it's true. That's true.
But it's like when you telling me this guy went on No Jumper and he said this and he did like all this business, we would not know.
So what's okay? This is what I say that's crazy too, though, right? Is why now is Loose Cannon trying to say, oh, I knew Whack 100 was a rat the whole time, and I was just sparing him, and he's this and he's that, and they're going against each other now, right? But the only reason that they're doing that now is because they leaked a phone call of Sharice Mills, which is Loose Cannon's wife, talking to Whack 100 saying, hey, they're trying to pin this, what's the name of the dude? Something, I think it was, kid something. It's a person that was, that got unalived in San Diego that was a Crip. They're trying to pin that murder on Loose Cannon because of Big U, right? But in the phone call, Loose Cannon saying this is just bait to see if Whack will take it for content. And once Whack figured that out, he looks back and he plays the other clip where Loose Cannon saying, oh, I'm going to get out soon to his wife, right?
Mm.
And Whack goes, oh, well, how would you be getting out soon if they just brought up all these brand new charges on you and all this other stuff, right? And you're facing a lot of time right now. Oh, you must have been trying to tell on that murder for Big U.
Mm.
And now, right? But I don't know if this is true or not, because this is just Whack and Loose Cannon. It could be content, could be a play, whatever. But that is a real murder that did happen. I don't know if Big U was involved allegedly.
This is the point. And I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna roll a split soon. this is the main problem. They're talking their shit. This look, I should not be knowing about what's going on with the Rolling 60s. I should not be knowing what's going on with these Bloods. I should not be knowing these characters' names who are not really, they're not no rappers, they're not producers, nothing. I should not be knowing these people, right?
Yeah, you shouldn't.
This is my whole point. Down in Toronto, Rock, we have Crips too. They've been around for a long time. We have gangs too. We don't know none of that. You don't know who the motherfucking boss is. You know what I mean? I don't know
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
the
yeah,
leader
yeah.
of the Crips in Toronto or the Bloods. You don't know. That should be the other way around, shouldn't it be, right? Shouldn't it be like that in LA?
I was gonna say no smut to top five or whatever, but he's the only person I really hear speaking
And
about
he's
like
not
any
part of
gang
a
stuff.
he's not part of a traditional gang in Toronto. He's not part
But
of
I'm no, yeah, I feel
yeah.
it. But I'm just saying he's the only person that really spreads light on the gang stuff out there.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I bumped into a clubhouse room, right? People all from Toronto, right?
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, y'all know top five? They was like, oh, F top five. He's not from nowhere. Da da da. He's a rat. Da da da. And I'm like, what? I was like, are you sure? They're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. They're like, they don't say top five's name in here. This is real gang business. We from the six and da da da.
Hmm.
And I was like, whoa, like you guys really have gangs out there? I didn't even know that. They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, you would never know because we don't talk on cameras like that.
Yeah, they don't talk, like there's people who do. Now, there is that same similar thing they're trying to like they do like they go on the Instagram and they go back and forth or online, you know, they'll put this shit online, this guy's done this comment and stuff, but most of them are unknowns too. A lot of them are unknowns. They're not the big ones who are known like top five and shit, but what you're just saying there is facts. Yes, down here you don't know who's part of this. You don't know whose this name is that, and that blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And we have podcasts too, other podcasts, what talk about like might talk about politics really, but still within talking, they don't. No one's digging for oh this guy who's the head of this or the head of that. We don't know who our big U is. But there's a couple big U's here. We don't know who are like even the rats too. We don't even know who the rats are really. Like you know how you would say like the WAC 100s,
Yeah.
right? We have those, but they're you know what they are? You know what they are? Faceless pages. They're fake.
Okay.
We have Six Bus. If you ever heard of Six Buzz, we have pages with names with a lot of followers, and they just post controversial shit, and they take pictures and say this guy has a beef with this guy, or this guy has paperwork on this guy. So
Yeah.
they do the same shit, but they just don't show their faces here. It's not shown like
Okay. So
how you
that's the
have.
difference. So
Yeah,
you would say more like there is a lot of the same stuff going on with the rats and people
yeah,
in high power in
yeah,
gangs and stuff like that, but it's not brought to the light how it is in the West Coast
yeah,
or New
yeah,
York or
yeah.
Chicago or places like that.
Yeah, but and you're not gonna know the characters' names unless some guy's trying to do some deep dive investigation. The only person I've seen do something like that and close to that is an American guy. It's funny who covers organized crime in Canada called Original Gangster Podcast. You should check it out. And he talks about a lot of not even over here Montreal mafia and bikers and shit. And he's
Okay.
and it's an American guy. And his podcast is pretty good called Original Gangsters. And he talks about our shit. I seen other people who are not even from Toronto talk about Toronto shit, even some Americans. I said, well, yeah, this is interesting, man. They done some homework, man. Yeah, they done some homework and actually know this shit.
Okay.
Pretty
No,
good, better than some here.
I'm gonna have to check. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check them out for sure, bro. I was gonna say this too. Appreciate you coming by, gracing the platform, bro. This is definitely a dope conversation for sure. I'm gonna have to go on your platform next, bro. We're gonna have to
man,
switch it off.
we're gonna interview you too, man. Anytime, man. Anytime, man.
Damn
Could
right,
connect.
man.
This was definitely a long.
What time is it at LA right now?
Right now, I'm in the. I'm over here in Riverside County,
Oh
which
yeah,
is about
yeah,
an hour away from LA. Right now it's 12:12.
12.
For
Okay.
us, it's 3:00.
3 a.m. over here.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, we almost did 2 hours, bro. I just looked at the time. I'm like, damn, I didn't even.
That's what I'm saying. It's better when there's more like a versatile conversation, even though we talked about certain things for a while. But this one's going to be controversial because a lot of
for sure.
A lot of gems we kind of opened up, and I'm just being real. I'm gonna telling you, I'm just being real. You guys could subscribe to our platform, Down to Earth.
No, for sure. Yeah. Definitely go check them out. Down to Earth Podcast.
I'm being real, man. Like if you put yourself out there, they're gonna see you, and people will take advantage of you, or they're gonna get you. I'm just straight up gonna say that.
No, for sure.
But yo, man, thanks for having me and my brother on your platform. Anytime, man. When you want to do a pod, we will be down to earth for that.
Okay, yeah, no, for sure, bro. Yeah,
I
we'll
love
lock it
that.
in. What I'm gonna do too is I'm gonna break it down into clips and stuff like that. So I'll to your email, I'll send you all the short clips. You can post them as shorts.
Yeah, man.
Well,
All
Respect.
right, for
before
sure.
we go, I gotta say this. This is the Rastafari Samurai, never leaving you dry in your eye. Approve this message. Nation what? Pop, 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 pop. You don't know. Ah.
All
Respect.
right, all right, fam. Peace.
Respect.
Yep.
Bless.